I have a daughter who is going to be in high school here in 2 years, and there is no question in my mind that this is the best place for her, not just because I teach here, but because I see what kind of student leaves CBA when they graduate. And I know that because I taught at the college level, I know that the students that are leaving here are incredibly well prepared and much more prepared than a lot of the freshmen that I saw when I was teaching college. A lot of the upperclassmen I saw when I was teaching college. They are amazingly well spoken and poised in front of a group. They are good at problem solving. They have worked in small groups with people very different from themselves. And it's just a set of skills that you can't get a lot of places. I went to teach at Maryville College right out of graduate school. I stayed there for 14 years. I loved my job there. I got to teach great students. I got to teach from lower level to really upper level mathematics. It was really challenging mentally. It was a great job. I got tenure there, so I was set to stay there and retire from my position at Maryville College. My husband and I had a daughter who was getting ready to start school, and we were really struggling in terms of trying to decide where we wanted her to start school. We heard through the grapevine that there was this group of people that were talking about starting a charter school at first, and so we went to a meet and greet and fell in love with the people and said we want to help and get involved, and so we did. And so by the time Clayton-Bradley opened, our daughter was starting first grade. Every time I came to campus, I went home thinking, how can everybody be so happy there all the time? Because that's what it was like. So later that year, Pat Bradley called me into her office to chat. She said, well, things are moving a little faster than we thought. And that happens here a lot. Things move a little faster than we thought. And we're going to add 7th through 9th grade next year. So we need someone to teach high school and 7th and 8th grade. Would you be willing to do that? And I thought about the fact that somebody was essentially saying to me, you get to design the math curriculum that your daughter is eventually going to see. And I thought about all of the students that I had been teaching and the struggles that I see students have in college level mathematics, and I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if I could design a curriculum to try and fix some of those things that I was seeing? And so what I found really quickly was that rather than saying, hey, here's this textbook, how am I going to present this to my students? It was, how am I going to create the best way for kids to understand this? So from the outset of the high school, we were encouraged to think way outside the box. What a lot of us experienced, which was sort of this traditional, I do algebra for a year, and then I do geometry for a year, and then I do algebra for another year, and so on. But then there was this other pathway that didn't exist when I went to high school, that had become pretty popular in different parts of the country, called integrated math, where you combine parts of algebra and parts of geometry and some statistics into a single year-long course, not just haphazardly, but because these topics fit well together. And quite frankly, separating algebra from geometry is not how mathematicians use math in the real world anyway. Standards-based grading probably means different things for different people. For us, in math at CBA, it means that every unit we cover is split up into easily defined skills. This is the unit we're covering. Here are the 8 to 10 individual skills that mean if you know how to do these skills, you have mastered this concept. Every day in class, we are referring back to, okay, today we're working on this skill. Every assessment they take, every question is labeled with, this covers this skill or this combination of skills. And so when we are assessing the students, it is not, do you understand this whole unit? It is, what is your level of mastery on these individual skills? And people who do standards-based grading and do it really well don't call it standards-based grading. They talk about standards-based learning, because what you soon find out is it's not about it's not just about how you grade things, it's about how students learn things. And so by the teacher going through this process of sorting through, what does mastery of this big topic look like? What does that really mean you can do? The instructor really starts to understand how those pieces fit together and then has to communicate that to the student. And so I think it does this great job of helping students see the big picture, but also see how those smaller skills fit into the big picture, which I think is really lacking in mathematics education. And I think it's why so many students don't like math, because they really see it as these unrelated formulas and skills and, when am I ever going to need to use this? But you put this into this big picture and they start to see these interconnections. And then they realize, oh, this is a system of things that works together. There's a lot of things in the world that are like that, even outside of mathematics. And so if I can learn this process of how things scaffold and fit together, that helps me learn anything. So in many ways, I feel like we're teaching them how to learn a body of knowledge.